Okay, Mark, 10 seconds out. Let's call the Hillsboro City Commission to order and start with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just so everybody knows, we're going to be short-handed tonight. We actually dealt with sounds like a pretty bad virus, congestion and things like that. So please bear with us because I'll have to take it through a couple of double meetings here going forward. Do I have a motion from the commissioners for the reading of the minutes to approve the minutes from the past? I'll make a motion. Dave makes a motion. I'll second. And Mike seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. It passes. Has every commissioner had a chance to take a look at the presentation of bills and sign the paperwork? The bills from last, we have a motion from Levi. I'll second. And Dave seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Disconnects for July. Has everybody had a chance to take a look through the disconnects? Yeah, you might have here or here. Levi makes a motion. Mike seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Okay. Moving on to city commissioner reports. Mike, we'll start with you. Dave?
We're engineers and the street sign assessment.
Yeah, they'll have to come up and do that. Do some stuff with them and do an evaluation. I haven't heard any of that.
Just want to know if there's going to be any kind of report coming in the future, meetings to go there.
I know.
We can look at.
I can touch base with Steve and see what we're going to
We
do.
can do that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I have nothing else.
Levi?
We'll go to get last time. Last time, John and I were on the conference call meeting for the job service. Answered questions to the best of my ability. You should hear it was 7 to 10 days after last Wednesday. That's all I have.
And the only thing I have is that we're working on the airport hangars. It's coming along really well, and a lot of the pavement stuff has been done out there. So that's all I have. Moving on now to Jim, city superintendent report.
I have a quote from the Board of Fence for the addition we've got in shop. We'd like to move the gate to the fence over to the east. Includes enclose the remainder of the area behind the shop and the fence. Quote comes to $10,194.
10,000, what? 194?
Due date, 149 feet is 6 foot high, galvanized fence.
Is it on the east side or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. We've got no building there, it's just a rat trap. That'll create a mouse trap, and there's no more area back there.
Okay, and, so you got the quote with you. Any other discussion, what we haven't budgeted for it yet, so I'd like to take a look at that before I answer anything about the finances and stuff that we have with Ashley on. I just want to make sure that she's aware of it. Does she know about it? Okay. What, Commissioner, any discussion there? You want to ask other questions? Anything else, Jim? No.
That's all
Thank you. City Attorney John?
I have nothing, not, for last week, actually, the petition for special election was handed in, and no issue result today, so.
Yeah, when I talked to her, she didn't say anything about a petition today, but, we just thought, she didn't even get able to sign here, so we got that taken care of, we'll just make a copy of it. Okay, and now this is the hard part, I'm going to speak for Ashley. Okay, one of the things that has come up, that she wants to take and get permission for is, she would like to take and have Julie go to the elected officials training in September. There's a discount right now where the cost would be $250. It goes up after the, up to $275, I think it is, after, there's a date on here that goes up. So after August 23rd, it goes up to $295, I'm sorry. So she wanted me to take and have this, bring it up, discuss it, and get the commissioner's feedback on this would be something that she wants to take it. Probably good for Julie to go. Good speakers and stuff here.
How much more? Yes, okay.
Okay, and would anybody like to take a look at the agenda? Okay, Eddie makes the motion. Levi seconds. And this is to take and pay for the 250 versus the 295. So Mike?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Levi? Yes. And a yes for me. The next one she has here is Levi, you dropped off about Virginia Sambo's lawnmower. And we had tabled this, I think, 2 commission meetings ago. And so can you take and fill us in on what,
She just said that she got it fixed, and I said, that dropped it off at City Hall, and Dave and I had talked one day, and we were talking about insurance. So we knew exactly where the price was at.
Is that something you just paid, or?
Well, what was the whole story on the deal?
What she had said that she had asked for this to get, her and her neighbor had asked for this to get fixed. How many years? And, fell off and broke off. And she ended up setting it up more and shot it up more.
Jim, can you give us any insight as she talked to you? Or
Problem I have with it is, it broke off and she knew it and she reported it, totally reported it. You have to get it. I don't get it, really.
I think it was coming up or something else when she reported it.
John, any legal insights you can provide? This is really a great area.
We, over the years, we've had a few things similar to this, and basically what happens is that they request us to go over to our insurance company and they do any investigating, they want to keep documents, et cetera, and they make a decision on the claim, that would be the first stop. Normally.
That's usually what insurance reserve does.
And that's your expectation is that it goes to insurance,
I
right?
think that would be the best option to start with.
I'm not suggesting that insurance will cover this, I'm saying the ask them is just a really important thing.
Yeah, I feel for it, that there's a lot of work out, right? Just thought it would be able to do some kind of looking into it, this is what really,
I would bring it up.
if we don't, we're gonna just go bunch of claims down the road.
That's kind of a tough precedence to set.
But, yeah, that insurance reserve is, whoever does it. Actually, I think it's leave it.
Okay, so we will take and hand this off. If we need a motion, I think this is just normal procedure then. To hand it up and see what the insurance will do with that. And I'll make a note here for Ashley to take and let Virginia know. And do you know which one she's talking about? As long as it's been a problem. It is a problem. I gotta go over mine all the time with the lawnmower, put my son down.
It's taken up for a while, I think she's been aware of it. I talked to one of my employees and he said, what's your name, years ago, and asked if she wanted to know, and she said, no, it's no problem. We noticed that. All I've heard.
Well, how did they get it broke off? Because they had it over at City Hall, and I don't know if it looked like it had been hacked or welded on.
I don't know.
Sure didn't bust off with their push more.
No, because it was rusty where the brake had been. I don't know.
Insurance figure.
Oh,
And you already get a call in from insurance.
yeah, been there, done that.
Okay. Let's see. I think now I'm to the point. So also, actually has on our list, heard yesterday Joyce Gilbertson about the bakery. She will be moving, retiring at the end of July. Her daughter will be moving up here to help her, and they plan on cleaning up the bakery in the middle of August. Gave her the phone number for a roll up, and so that they can clean it out. So hopefully now we'll just follow up and make sure that the chicken scratch gets done. Kate, I know you're out here. Do you want to speak to the issue about paying twice, or?
Yeah, when I applied for the slot grant, there were two projects on it. It was one was for the electricity and one was a sign made and installed. The electricity is done and completed, but the sign is here, but we still have to get it up to where we want it to install. So the question I have is, do you want me to wait for both projects to be completed before I hand everything in, or is it okay to hand in the electrical work, and then when I finally have sign information, do a second request? It doesn't matter to me, I just thought I'd ask the question.
It would be easier for you to do it all in one bundle.
It really is, either way it's fine, but I wanted to ask you guys, because I have all the paperwork for the electrical work done, but I don't have any billings or anything for the sign yet, because it isn't complete.
Commissioners, what do you think? I think just keeping it until she gets the whole
I don't have a problem with that.
Why don't we just keep it until it's all wrapped up?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully, if it's pushing the end of the year, and still don't have a sign, I may ask the question again.
We appreciate that. okay?
Thank you.
Water shut-off delegation, okay, that's one we just talked about. So now it looks like she's done there. We don't have any sheriff's report that I saw that came up, so we'll look for that later. And moving on to old business, the armory cleaning. Basically what Ashley told me today is that we need to take and explore a different solution set here for and she says that Des isn't interested in the long-term cleaning portion of it. In your packets, you've got Julie's job functions, and you also have Desree's job functions. And basically, it's pretty clear that even though Julie has done some of the cleaning and stuff, it's kind of been more on a voluntary basis. And there's nothing in here about cleaning and Des when I went through it. So,
I think they're busy enough over in that auditor's office to turn over the janitor.
I kind of agree, and I'd like to see about, advertising Tom's old job again, part-time position. I think see if we can find someone to do that, so.
If they were so busy, when I asked the question, when it came up, I wasn't the answer that she's not busy all the time. I asked if she was busy all the time. I could have a list of 500 long, but was she working a full 40-hour week? I'm not saying if she is, then that's fine, we should find somebody, but if we're trying to be fiscally responsible, then this is one way to do it.
But we gotta go back, it's not in her job description.
This, her job description that she wrote up, because this doesn't look like the one that was published.
This might be one that Ashley wrote up. Well, the downside is that I think you can be pretty assured that if you want her to take and do the cleaning, she's probably gonna quit. So now does that make it tougher on the other two in the office to pick up
And I
all those two?
get that too, but how do we say that? It's no different than Jim with his guys, really everything that they get put on, we don't even question it. I just think we need to explore it a little bit further before we say yes and
What do you want to explore? You want to actually see what she's doing over there?
well, I think part of it is Ashley has to be here to defend what
Correct.
he's
I agree with that.
And secondly, if Tom was only having a couple hours a week, that doesn't affect a whole lot. So,
Well,
Maybe I should go on that and talk to Dan. They were doing some of the cleaning, because that was in the agreement when we
right,
signed on and see. Maybe somebody down there would be interested, or people, or see how things are going about down there.
I mean, we added a position on, which was, as we said, there was lots of things, we were told there were lots of things that we could done, which I'm fine with, and that's why I asked Ashley at the last, whatever meeting it was, I said, is she working 40 hours a week, or is there something? How is that 2 hours different a week? I don't know, I can't tell you, but if it's 10 hours a week, well, that's a different story, it's not working.
well, and again, I think underlying the fact that I guess I want to just make a note of too is that we're kind of grooming a replacement for Julie when she leaves too. And I think it would be difficult to take and have someone just come in if Julie was to retire tomorrow and pick up everything she's doing. So I think that was another underlying factor as to what, we not only expanding all the social media and all those types of things that the city was getting into, but also to kind of groom her to be the replacement for Julie.
Which I get that too, but the last weekend when we mentioned, can you explore that option for some of the things that have come up, the same answer, we get every time, there's no one doesn't want to do that. I mean, when Jim said that every time, no, I don't want to do that, we want to get stuff done.
But then we should have on our job descriptions, you know, and other duties
And I do see on, it is on there, at least on at the bottom of the deputy auditor.
and there's not a business.
Right, that's what I said, is this, I believe this was brought up to either Ashley or Deb because it has Midwest inspection on there, which when she was hired, we didn't have Midwest inspection.
So what I'm hearing is that we're gonna table this until the last year's here.
I think that would be a good thing, and I think hours need to be accounted for. Once, we won't be able to vote.
Commissioners, what else do?
Well, the reason we got these is kind of a message saying that they don't wanna do it, is that why we got these?
Well,
It's sort of,
yep, that was my understanding today.
yeah, table. Easier.
Okay, moving on to our favorite here, 7.2, a follow-up tonight of our discussion that we had at the last commission meeting, the property cleanup photo discussion. So, Audrey, you want to take and jump into this? And again, Mike, I'm kind of leaning on you a little bit here as to which way you'd like to see it go here. We've got, just so everybody knows out there, how many pictures do we have here? Yeah, I started going through them today, and how many did you take, Levi? An estimate? 150. So I guess what I'm saying is it would be difficult for us without some sort of a presentation methodology to take and show you all the pictures that were collected, and I can take and pop a couple of them up if anybody wants to see them, but we have them on a, we did get our drives, and everybody had assumed has had a chance to take a look at them. The underlying factor, I think, where we wanted to revisit, and commissioners, correct me if I'm wrong, we have the new ordinance that was fairly specific as to a timeline as to when the letter wanted things to be done, July 18th, if I remember correctly. And so we discussed about how we also want to take and help businesses out. Now, what I do have printed out is the ordinances and what's required for different ones. So let me just go ahead and if you don't mind, Mike, I'll go ahead and read those. So for a commercial district, what the ordinance says, and this would be 6.0408, conditional uses, storage facilities for building materials such as lumber, steel, concrete blocks, or pipe, provided that these materials are either enclosed by a wall or fence equal in height to the highest pile of materials stored, but not less than 5 feet high, or stored in an enclosed structure. So that's for commercial. And moving on to industrial, what it says there, that would be 6.0410. And permitted uses, this ordinance has agriculture, fertilizer plants, grain elevators, feed mills, lumber yards, truck terminals, warehouses, industries that provide that they do not cause any interest or obnoxious noise, vibration, smoke, gas, fumes, and other things. And the conditional uses are storage facilities for building materials such as lumber, steel, concrete blocks, or pipe, provided that these materials are either the same as the commercial, basically, enclosed by a wall or fence equal in height to the highest pile of materials stored, but not less than 5 feet high, stored in an enclosed structure. Then moving on to the restriction on storage of vehicles by the collector. And a collector may store unlicensed, operable, or inoperable vehicles and parts, cars, including antique motor vehicles, junk automobiles, and abandoned motor vehicles and special interest vehicles on the collector's property, provided such vehicles and parts cars are kept in an outdoor storage area which is maintained in a manner that they do not constitute a health hazard and are screened from ordinary public view by means of fences, trees, shrubbery, or other appropriate chapter, it says. So that's kind of the ordinance going in for the discussion here. And I'm just she says the printout, she wanted me to take and refer to those. So, commissioners, that's kind of where we're at with the pictures that we have. And again, I guess my opinion is that we want to take and promote business, and we want to take and help businesses along. But we do want to have a beautified city, try to keep these projects going. And I do want to say that I have noticed that there has been some improvement on some of the yards and things that we probably noted in here. So I think the trend is changing, but I want to hear the discussion now from the commissioners.
I sat and looked at them last night, and I was pretty shocked. I guess I haven't driven around all that much, but there is some yards that are unbelievable. It just shocked me. I didn't even know there was places like that in town, so I apologize that I didn't know that. But I think my opinion is, and I've talked to Mike about this, is if there's people that have all this stuff and there's some reason that they can't get rid of it, I think we should sit down and talk to them if there's something that they need help. If there's something as a city, that the city could do, we could possibly tell them, if you can't physically get the stuff out or get it out to the curb, maybe we could set up certain times where they could bring it out to the curb, or we could set up something to have the city crew come around and pick it up for them. As the city just help them.
And I think that was a good example that we had last commission meeting too, when Ben came in and talked about his unusual circumstances, that he wasn't able to get those cars and things out. So again, I think that's what we're talking about is how do we work together to take and beautify Hillsboro and not be so onerous that we can't allow. But then on the other hand, we need to know from our public, our citizens out there, that there are concerns that we should be able to take and collaborate on. So, Levi, I'm going to open it up to you because you got the pictures and stuff, and obviously we pulled the trigger a little too soon on getting that letter out.
Well, like I said, the letter went out before our intention was also to take credit, for it to happen. But in the past, we did this. If you remember, the whole thing started when somebody complained about a neighbor that had an issue. And we sent a letter out. And then that's when I asked, why did you send out a letter to one person? So why are we getting it? And we talked about it. We said we were going to do this before cleanup week. Well, that never happened. And then I got into July or the end of June. I think we just need a procedure of how we're going to do this. Because right now, there is nothing that says we're going to do it this way. We send out letters and then it kind of gets dropped off. So my thought is the first letter goes out before cleanup week. Give them a chance, not say, give them a deadline, but say, kind of give them a deadline saying that you need to work on it or contact City Hall, work with us by X amount of date. And if X date comes and passes and nobody contacts or nothing gets resolved, then we send out another one that says this needs to be cleaned up by this date. And then if that goes and passes, then I think we do the final one, and we find somebody that will come in and clean it up. I don't think it's something that we want to have our citizen or our city crew go in and clean up. Jim has expressed that before. We should find some outside to make sure there is somebody there. But is there a lot of issues in some, like you said, Dave? There's some, there's still a few, but then there's some chronic that have been years in the making and that are over what it should be. I have seen a lot of people clean up, which is a good thing. That was my only goal on the whole thing, was just making Hillsboro look a little bit nicer. I think those that have done stuff have made it look a little bit nicer. That's all we're asking. But my thought is, again, and whether us up last meeting, Terry, about, committee, maybe there should be two of us on it. So that, you have some input, maybe a resident, maybe somebody from HBA to get everybody on it and then decide and say, these are the things that need to be cleaned up. But if we don't do anything, and people do have issues, I get that, and that's why, you know, that first letter is a reminder, because that was what I heard from a few, was that they just needed a reminder that we needed to clean it up. And granted, we could go around and try to talk to everybody, but that's, well, there's between around 35 letters that were sent out, so that's going to take quite a bit of time to do that. Where a letter initiates it, and then we don't hear that we can reach out. If we never got the letter, well, then we work with that too. I don't think we're trying to be hard.
Why don't we go on the record tonight and let them know that if they need help, approach us. Come to us, and just tell us their issue. They've got an issue that's helpful.
Right, and I mean, and that's what I'm trying to tell people when they come. That's why Virginia came to me and I said, okay, I'll work on it. I said, I can't give you an answer today, but, you know, when others, when they've talked to me about it, I said, this is what I expected. Just ask them to clean up something. Just make it look a little bit nicer, a little bit better.
I would like to see it, you know, us up a little bit more about the committee too, because I think having some residents on a committee gives us, you know, instead of us just doing the commission saying, no, we gotta do this, now we get some of that community activity that helps us too. So, but I wanted to ask Jim, you and your crew, you're around the city all the time, what's your impression? What's any input from you?
The only thing I don't want to get to be is where it's, weekly, you run over to so-and-so's place, pick up garbage and roll it. When you have a cleanup days is set up, it's publicized, everybody knows where it's at. You have the site at the shop that's open all day, every day of the week, and hours on the weekend. Just so it doesn't get to the point where like I said that then they're in the garbage department where I have to take guys off. I mean, what we're not getting done right now, and okay, we gotta run over so-and-so's. And as things catch on, I just think that's gonna be someone's gonna call and say, well, I got a bunch of stuff I can't haul it down there.
And I think Jim made a good point too, just knowing that we have a metal recycling bin out there, we got composting, we got tree limbs, and all those things.
Garbage roll-offs.
That can be used, so.
And it's available.
Yes. We haven't done a good job of advertising that.
I realize some people maybe just aren't physically able to do it, but there's a lot of them out there that are just quarters. And, you know, that's my take on it.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up to you all now, since we've had this discussion, and find out what concerns and what ideas you have to help the city clean up. Go ahead.
I have a couple of observations. First, like when people were talking about this, I didn't know Title 6. I was looking at Title 12.
Yeah, this one is actually.
And that was, that's where it kind of defined what is or is not appropriate. And I would say that in the future, keep an eye on that one, because there were a couple people here last week that were saying they had licensed vehicles that were being cleaned up, and that ordinance specifically said that they found their license, there's nothing that can really be done about those. So, in the future, I would keep that ordinance in mind when you're talking about these things. And then,
You're all right, this is 6, ordinance 6 is what we're talking about tonight.
and then 12 is where it kind of defines what is a nuisance and what can be done about it. And then to Jim's point, you know, talking about you don't want to pull your people off to go pull some one specific person's garbage. We do have those cleanup days, or not cleanup days, but community service days.
Yep, the
where we
churches,
have
yeah.
volunteers help with that. if there's a way to coordinate with the people who need that kind of help, if there's more of those kind of needs, that kind of thing. I don't know.
That's what would be nice to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Who needs help?
Yeah, exactly. So then if we know who actually needs some help, we can help get those volunteers over to them in terms of residencies.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Kate, and that's another reason why having people come into the, city auditor and saying, hey, I've got this problem, so that it could be scheduled or we can work through it, and maybe we get some volunteers. It could be the Boy Scouts even as a project, so, okay. Yes, sir.
Well, before there was, pictures and whatever else, you should have went over these businesses or these individuals and said, say, we got an issue with you, or we think there's an issue with you, what can you do or what can we do? And a prime example, I've got a couple of good friends that own businesses in town, and they are a repair shop, and they are a restaurant, they restore stuff. So right away you deem them as, this is bad, you gotta clean it up. I mean, they're a viable business in town that have been here for 100 years, and now you are picking on them, or whatever, and, another good friend of mine had another business too, he had a trailer in front, he had a pickup in the back. That ain't gonna do since me and I saw them. There's a lot of other things in this city we need to address, rather than, there's some cleanup that needs to be done, there's some places that it does need it, but the way it was done wasn't done right. It should have been a different approach to how you handled it. Rather than all of a sudden taking pictures and doing whatever, you should have went over to Tim Wright's place and say, hey Tim, we got some stuff here, you should have maybe really cleaned it up or what. But you guys all of a sudden you attack people. And that's not the way to do it, in my opinion.
And we conceded that there was.
It was approached wrong.
Yep, and I agree with you.
And I think you need to address or apologize to people that, hey, we targeted you and we were wrong. And there's other stuff. We got street issues, we got drug issues, we got other issues in this town we need to look at. Beautifying our city is a kind of a priority, but we got drug dealers in town, we got streets that are horrible. We got to look at other things rather than attacking our businesses that have been here for a long time. I've been in Hillsboro quite a while. I love Hillsboro, but there's a lot of things that need issued besides cleaning up a car here and there or cleaning up a yard. We got a lot of other issues before we start doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that in the last commission meeting, you would have heard that, we as a commission didn't act in an informed manner to be able to do the.
It should have been approached different.
I agree, but,
this time, I didn't have anything in the yard, but, I buy vehicles and I don't park them out at home to the junkyard. And last winter, I had a vehicle sitting on my street, and they tagged it an abandoned vehicle. Well, it ain't an abandoned vehicle, it's licensed, it's whatever, and I pick up junk and I haul them. And I got tagged for an abandoned vehicle, I didn't move it in a timely manner, it wasn't there 3 days. So there's certain things that just ain't done right in this town.
Tim, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'd like you to clarify, you said licensed vehicles, you got the iron law on your lots?
No.
Licensed vehicle?
It says that if you have even parted vehicles for industrial, they just would prefer that I think you would fall under this one, restrictions of storage of vehicles by collectors. And a collector may store unlicensed, operable or inoperable vehicles and parts cars, including antique motor vehicles, junk automobiles, and abandoned motor vehicles, and special interest vehicles on the collector's property, provided such vehicles and parts cars are kept in an outdoor storage area which is maintained in such a manner that they do not constitute a health hazard and are screened from ordinary public view by means of fence, trees, shrubbery, or other appropriate.
Okay, I got a customer that hauls one in, it's not licensed, so we can get it running, so we can take it back home. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
That's what you're saying?
Yep.
That's what I want to clarify.
Yep.
We got a problem, 3, 4 of them out there.
Yep. Now, if we can work with you to maybe put up some sort of a, a barrier that would kind of block things off there.
He's
That's a
a
discussion.
repair shop.
Right, but
You
what I'm
gonna
saying,
make aqua gardens fence their property because people are bringing tractors in to be repaired or restored?
no, and again, what I'm saying is there might be an opportunity, since that's a main highway, that we work with Tim as a city to maybe put up some sort of an obstruction that doesn't see all this other
There's
stuff.
something else, but I can't get in a Conway with 30-foot headers and stuff, it just makes it impossible to operate.
And again, I said we would like to see what we can do to work with you, Jim. I'm not saying that we're nailing something down tonight. And what we want to take and convey to everyone tonight is that we're here to work with you, not to make it onerous and, try to make things hard for everybody, including citizens on their residential lots. So and we did have, after the last commission meeting, people came in, we were, notified that there were some problems that they had that they couldn't overcome, and we're willing to work with them. We're not here to take and penalize anybody out there, but we also want to take and do what we can to help people.
What do you consider a nuisance vehicle? Or a nuisance piece of machinery, or what do you consider a nuisance?
Commissioners, what do you think is a nuisance vehicle? I'm asking the commissioners, what do you guys think is a nuisance vehicle?
Good friend of mine, Tom Sample, he's got a pickup in his shop. Is that a nuisance?
Can't see it, it's not a nuisance to me.
Then why did he get a letter and a picture?
Again, that was the letter that went out until all the commissioners had a chance to discuss the way that we're gonna approach it.
That was him, he's a repair shop.
That was a shortfall on our part, I concede that, it happened, and now we're trying to take and go back and make things right.
The thing is, everybody's gotta do their part to make Hillsboro. I mean, everybody loves Hillsboro. Everybody's gotta do their part. I mean, we shouldn't have to send letters out. We shouldn't have to talk to people. It should be, they should look at their property and say, you think this looks good? And if it doesn't, then they should clean it up. Simple as that. I'm tired of going around and around about this issue. It's as simple as that.
Maybe people as fortunate as you and
What do you mean
can
fortunate? Fortunate.
and can afford a nice car. Maybe they have a car in their yard, they're robbing parts off to drive the car.
And that's why
they're gonna get penalized.
That's why we want to talk to them. We want to sit down and talk.
I mean, I buy and I flip it, you guys, I haven't done it because I have another place out of town. But I've had stuff on the trailer and I caught hell for it.
That's what they have. But, like I just said, everybody's got to do their part. Because this goes on year after year, year after year. And it's getting old. And then we get the blame for it because we send letters out.
Here a year ago, you guys went through and did a abandoned vehicle and you did whatever. But there's a few chosen people in town that had vehicles and stuff on their property and there's never moved. It always depends who you, it always depends who you are.
It's always going to be that.
It always depends who
It's
you
going
are.
to be somebody that gets slipped through them.
No, they just get,
I don't believe that.
I'll take you drive around.
I believe that. But anyway, I've said my piece. You got to do your part to make Hillsboro look nice. I'm done.
But it can't be one person's opinion. Go around taking pictures.
Well, and like I said, I can see that. And that's why we continue to have this discussion, so that we can come up with a common sense way forward. And that's why I opened it up for, again, opinions from the audience again tonight, that, yeah, we didn't do it right the first time. And I think everybody realizes that on the commission now, and we're trying to take and come up. The ordinances are fairly new, we need to probably tweak them to make sure that they fit the appropriate way that we want to take and do this. And so, again, the input is valid, and it's needed for us to be able to take and tweak things.
Well, then construction sites shouldn't be kept clean. If you're building something and there's everything, everybody's got to look at, not just certain people.
And I agree, I needed to take and do the landscaping, but my project isn't done.
Well, I
did remove the pile of dirt.
I ain't talking about any rules. I ain't talking about any specific, but there's a lot of things.
But what I'm saying is that I think also that's part of when you have a construction project going on, you have to wait till it's completed before you do the landscaping and you do the thing. I got a lot to do over there yet, but my main goal is to get the damn building finished so I can do the landscaping, to be quite honest.
No, I wasn't.
But I just wanted to make sure Tim knew I moved my file.
You did, and, good
I
job.
think I'm gonna have to redo that damn sidewalk for the city too, that's pretty broken up back there, but that's another year's time. Huh? Yeah, maybe. Only up to the property line, so, but.
You know, I will take blame, I'm the one that went around with pictures. I'm sorry that the process didn't go the way that I intended, but I will. And I apologize that it happened that way, but, you know, it was a miscommunication in the office as to what my expectations were. But my expectations were to bring it to the commission so that all of us could look at it and decide, because as I've said many times, just as you said, I don't want it to be a nitpick thing of this person or that person. So, yes, there was 200 and some pictures or whatever it was, but that was because I took pictures of everything so that then we could go through and look at it and say, yes, we're gonna do this, no, we're not, because the whole thing started, or I brought it up again, was because there was one person that got a letter and not everybody. Because what do we do if we send a letter out to one person and then, let's say they wanted to go to court over it? The first thing that's gonna come up in court, well, did you do this for everybody? Because I've heard that's happened in the past. And so all we're trying to do is do better. And, you know, we made a mistake, we admit that we made a mistake, we're gonna try to do better. And I think that's the thing with this, you know, and that's why I said we need a process so that it's not one person's decision. I didn't want to be the garbage police.
Who told you to?
I asked, Mike was gonna do it, Mike didn't have time, I asked him if he
Did
wanted to
you
help.
tell me to do it, or did you just?
Sometimes
It's volunteer.
it's volunteer.
It's volunteer, so I can volunteer and go around and take pictures of who's yard and like.
If you'd like to do
If you like,
We heard both are cool. We're not gonna be cool.
We're reminded, right, that's it.
Cool. You want to do what we do.
No, that's what it was.
you know, and that's the thing, and am I perfect at it? Did I probably miss some? Yes, but the point of it was is that I was trying to do everything so that we can't have anybody come in and say, we're picking on special people and not other people. Is there some worse than others in town? I believe all of you know there is probably some properties that are worse than others. And we just gotta do a process so that we can get those issues taken care of.
Now, there were tonight, are you guys paying $500 for people who clean their yards up?
No, it was an idea that I threw out to try to help with the process. Nothing,
I just heard that, and it was just a question.
no, that is not the case.
Okay, so we can.
You want to clarify that? For the end of this meeting? We're not paying $500. We are not paying $500.
Clean your property up?
No, that was an idea that was thrown out.
Okay, I just heard that, and I just wanted to.
I think we threw it back to them right away.
They did. So, like I said, I brought up a lot of ideas to try to do things and do things differently. This was one of them that didn't work the way that I wanted, but, you know, that's where I said, if this year this is as far as we go, at least then that's something, but at least now we've learned that we can do a new process, so next year, figure out whether we start a committee and say there's a resident, or an HBA member, or a business leader in town, and a couple commissioners, and we make sure that they're sent out at the beginning, so that there's a cleanup week in there, so that they can get their stuff off the curb and do those things.
Could we do a spring and a fall cleanup? Or is that too expensive?
What kind of stress would that do on the guys? Last winter, or last fall, probably wouldn't have been that, because we had an easy winter, but what I'm worried about is if we have another tough winter like the winter before, where we're doing a lot of snow removal.
Yeah.
And it does take a lot of overtime.
And I'm not trying to get you to work, but it'd be nice to have it.
But that's something we'll take under consideration. And before I close this, is there anybody that would, as residents, be interested in joining a committee that help out, with the process to come up with, procedures and to then kind of evaluate what we think we would like to see as an ongoing process? Is there anyone out there that would want to volunteer to do that?
I'm sorry, wanted to take pictures.
Kate, raise your hand.
I'll take pictures. I'll take pictures, and I all jump away, so I definitely help.
I kind of like the idea of a committee, that is established that has more than just commission voices that, that will kind of make sure that we're seeing the whole big picture. And I think Kate was very astute last commission meeting. She raised an issue with a neighbor of hers that we weren't aware of. So, those are the types of inputs. I live in my own little world, and I'm pretty new to Hillsboro, so I don't know a lot of issues with the local, residents. And so I would appreciate that type of information.
I don't have a problem with the
Pardon?
So I don't have an issue with the neighbors.
No, I said you made us aware that one of your neighbors, had some things that we wouldn't have known about, having to see why we would hop in and be a little bit hard on that individual. No, that's kind of what I meant. Paul, I saw your hand up.
Well, I think, we asked somebody asked, who was going to be the architect. I think that's the great thing about setting up a committee of whether it be 4 or 5 people. Because now if you have 5 people, I'm sure they won't say, yeah, this needs to be cleaned up, you're probably going to chance of a problem. But if 5 of them say, well, they don't have a problem with it, it's probably pretty clear that's not an issue.
We can move on to the next one.
If we have that going forward, I think that's what you really want to look at, is trying to set that up to, so you don't have that one person that has to be the, we might have one person take pictures, but the more people you can have that look at that, then you get different views from different areas. So I think that's really the best way to do it.
And I think then you understand the underlying factors that might be why that individual can't have it as clean as maybe some of the rest of us. So I think that's important.
Well, I think that was the idea of just taking pictures, so we were gonna view the pictures before the notice got sent out.
But I think even now with the residents and HBA being members of that committee, that would be even better.
I would go ahead and move to make a motion. I move that we start a committee of 5 people, 2 commissioners, and 2 residents, 1 HBA member or business member to review we'll call it the 5 vote.
I'll make sure I got this right. Actually, so 2 commissioners, 2 residents, and 1 HBA. Right. Okay, we have a motion. Levi, Mike seconds. And any other discussion? Mike?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Levi? Yes. And a yes for me. And we'll come up with kind of the protocols and the way we will solicit the residents and the HTA member at the next commission meeting.
I think we should decide which one of us is the might will probably will have done it. I volunteer to do it, and we come up with move forward with it. If that works.
That work? So Mike and Levi will be the leads for the commission, excuse me, and then we'll come up with the procedures to put the maybe the rest of the other three members in place then. Yep.
And then I would say then the committee would decide what procedure we go through to make sure that it's.
And how many meetings, once a month, once every other month, or, you know, how many times a year, all those things will be laid out then and proposed. Okay?
And everything will be brought to the full city commission. So nothing will be decided. City commission will be the last decision.
Like it is, planning anyway, you know, all the rest, so we have the final.
So you guys are gonna come up with all the procedures then. I saw a hand go up.
So if you deem, like, say, for example, Tim Wright's place needs a fence, now is the city gonna help, or is whatever, like, say, you say Tim's is an eyesore, or not an eyesore, but we feel they need a fence to hide, not hide, but to whatever, is the city gonna help him to build the fence?
I think those are all good questions, and this might fall into the same categories of facade grant. You know,
It's
with all
just
the businesses
curious.
downtown, you know, maybe there's a way that we can help do something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious.
But again, I don't want to nail.
No, I'm just I'm using Tim as a goal.
But
I mean, if you need like Dallas over there, if you feel his lot needs a repair shop, if you feel he needs to put a fence to enclose his cars that he, I mean, is the city gonna get a grant or assistance to build a fence?
I think when it comes to businesses, we're pro-business, and we want to try to help out
Yeah.
where we can. The city has a certain amount of
Yeah.
budget that we
Yeah.
need to do. But those are all open for discussion.
Yeah.
And again, I thought that the stock grant, Levi's idea, it went over really well this year. And this would kind of align into that too. And it all depends on, again, I think HBA, I don't want to speak for GR there, but you know, now that they have a sales tax that's coming in, there might be a way from a business perspective to go out and do low interest loans, grants, different things like that too. HGC.
Yeah.
He does both.
I wear both hats.
I get so confused.
So, no, and so I think that there's, and as a city, we were, you know, anything that we can do to make downtown Hillsboro, and Hillsboro is at large a destination, is gonna be good for all the businesses, so that's what we're hoping. And Katie, you had one question, or?
I have two little thoughts for you, and then I promise I'm done. I would definitely suggest on this committee, coming up with a way to handle residences and businesses very separately. Instead of, you know, mass email or mass letter to everybody, you know, there's a way to approach business and there's a way to approach residents. And they should probably be handled very differently. On that residential side, you don't know how to say this probably, but there are homeowners associations for a reason. So, you know, and I don't pay those fees. So, you know, are we tipping into that area on the residential side, or, you know, is it really just a public community outcry? Just food for thought, not necessarily something that needs to be discussed tonight.
No, I think those would be all good points for a committee to be able to take and cover. Okay. So, seeing no other hands raised, let's go on to the next. Oh, sorry. So we got the motion, Levi made the motion, Mike got it. So Mike?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Levi? Yes. And yes for me. This is one that, John, you might kind of understand a little bit more. We're moving into new business now, 8.1. And Ashley talked to me real quick, and this, I gotta admit, went over my head. But every 10 years after a census, there's a redistricting board that needs to be put together. And let me just read this one part from Glenda. Hi, Ashley, the redistricting board is not new. It happens every 10 years with the census. Depending on the report we are given from the Census Bureau, we may now have to redistrict commissioners' lines and legislative lines. that is what the board will determine. Once all city representatives meet, they will pick one to represent all cities. The total board consists of one, the state's attorney, auditor, county commission, one representative from the largest city, Mayville, one representative chosen from all the township supervisors, one representative chosen by the smaller cities. For sure, one meeting is necessary to review the numbers. I certainly hope that we do not have to change the district lines, Glenda. So then, I guess we're being asked if we have to meet with them, to be picked out of the, I guess, small cities, to be picked out from all of those. And then another one is that we can pick one individual to attend the meeting. When we meet, all cities represented will pick one from that group. And Ashley's question is, do we have to pay for this? So I'm not quite sure what we would be paying for.
I don't think there's a monetary charge to the city of Hillsboro. Usually someone from the commission volunteer to attend the board meeting. That would be a motion to do so.
Do the commissioners want me to go, or anyone of you guys want to go, or?
Thanks, Dave. I'll vote for Terry and be our representative. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second it.
So now that I can mark that down. Okay, I'll be happy to do that. We got a motion, any discussion before we go and vote real quick? Hearing none, Mike?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Levi? Yes. And yes for me. I have to abstain, I guess. Okay, I'll take care of that. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And the restricted permit application approval for the Hillsboro Senior Center bingo and raffle, but I did not see paperwork that came of that. Oh, okay.
I'll move to approve.
That motion is approved. Dave seconds. Okay, any discussion? Mike?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Eli? Yes. And yes for me.
I just thought of this, maybe we should do it. We should ask Ashley to send a letter to all the stakeholders and do what we got the previous letter saying that we're reviewing the process, not to be concerned, and that this is the reviewing process for the future before we do that. Just thought maybe we should do this.
I think that's probably pretty good. That'll help the individuals or the businesses out there that have got that letter. We don't need a formal motion for that, I don't think, since it's kind of a normal business, so is that right?
Informing that we're doing.
We got some great input, but that's all the things that we have, so I'll open it up to any other issues that the citizens have out there. Go
I
ahead.
just got a question for Jim. I was gonna stop by the shop and just having it, when are they gonna fix those holes on two going north of my house? Where they put that drain in, there's those major divots in the road, any time frame when they're gonna fix those?
I'll do the street project, I'm not sure what holes you're talking about.
Or where they did that drain going by the monastery, and there's like, it's like 4 feet by 8 feet or 10 feet that you have 4 inches. I was just
Speed
wondering.
bumps? Speed bumps?
A little more speed bumps, but I was just wondering when they were able to be fixed. Or when, is that the company that did that thing, or is that the city's thing? Yeah, I was just wondering when they were gonna, I was gonna stop by the shop and just have.
The inventory of the streets is ongoing, so we'll prioritize what we're able to do some investments in.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Personally, I think there's other places that are more of an issue, but.
Well, no, this is one that the construction,
I mean, I realize, I know what you're talking about, Frank.
they're pretty intense, and I drive that road quite a bit. Going on my house.
I've driven through a couple times, I didn't think they would have that.
But if you could, I just was wondering when they were labeled the perfect construction company that did it. I mean, they liable, and they can be fixed. And then another question is like I get the manhole cover over on the highway there by Bryce Hill with my car the other day, and that thing is like off the ground. That needs some, I don't know if that's the city or if that's the state or who that is, but
I think it's both of us.
that's an issue that really needs to be looked at too. It's
On this,
no,
It's a roundabout.
yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said, I shouldn't order the shop, I mean, I didn't bring up the meeting, but I just wondered who was liable to fix those ones on two there.
you got Frank, Chuck?
Couple quick things, and I probably missed it, what's happening with the vacancy on the commission? Is that old business, is there something that should be done?
One more, I didn't hear you, Chuck. Oh, so we're waiting, we have to wait until John, you want to explain?
Yeah, it's, the 15 days is not up yet, so potentially there could be a petition filed requesting a special election. We'll know that by next meeting, whether or not there was a petition for a special election. If there is not, then the commission can start its work to appoint someone to fill the seat, and if there is a petition for a special election, then we basically follow the election laws as if it were a general election.
Are the 15 days up tomorrow? Was it the last day of the meeting when you resigned?
Resignation was effective July 9th.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So that's the kicker there.
Okay.
Just the next Saturday, next Monday, to have it.
You said you had two things?
At least.
I
I've been on the commission before. Levi is 100% right. If we got a lady sitting over here that's asked to do something, the city's willing to pay her to do it. If she don't want to do it, there's a word called for that, insubordination or whatever. Replace her or get somebody that'll do the job. You know, it's about time the city commission runs the show rather than having employees say, I won't do this, make my job description or whatever. You guys buckle down and get something done with her. You know, it's unbelievable that a person can say, I don't want to do it, and I don't know if she even asked. But,
Vernon actually have gone over and cleaned the armory a couple of times. So,
but it should be brought to the head that you guys are running the show, not the hell, no matter who it is. I think anyway,
but we do have to follow the job description, so if the job description doesn't have it, then we could be liable for, you know, basically a legal suit if she chose to leave because we were making her do something that wasn't in her job description. So we have to be cognizant of that.
well then take care of it, do it. Because, you know, honestly, God, those people want to work. And if you, no, and don't get me wrong, I'll bet within a year, if she doesn't do it, and you get somebody else to do it, she'll come to you and want to be 40 hours or full time. And I'm sure you'll be open armed, you have showroom, we'll make it full time. Well, buckle down and let's call a spade a spade.
Well, it comes back, like you said, we have to wait to get Ashley.
Right, I understand. Talking about Ashley though, about 3 meetings ago, I understood at every meeting there was going to be a report on how much electricity was coming or being used out of the carport field, and I have never heard you at a meeting about it since then.
The update there is that we were on the phone with ChargePoint 2 weeks ago to take and do a media is synchronizing with Bismarck and Fargo because they have ChargePoint systems down there. So I've been trying to synchronize with the Roberts Common parking lot, for example. So there's gonna be a big press release, and they gave the statistics then, and the fact that she's not here tonight, you know, she probably could answer that. But the first year is gonna be free anyway, so we're just monitoring how many people use it versus what the electricity is off. But they mentioned it on that one, Chuck, and I didn't take a note of it, and I don't remember. So I'll make another note that we make sure that she brings that in for future meetings.
The facade grant, is that, did you leave it now for the year?
We have to do a little bit of that. Because we have. What we don't. 20 for 20, we gave them 3 for 5, and there was 1 that didn't take the full 5.
Should we revitalize that? Yeah, our budget.
Well, I think there's another person that wants to send us a contract for this whole year. We said the first come, first served, so.
But we will have to replenish it.
Next year. Yeah. But I think you look at that.
And then the more important question will be is, you know, if there's a request this fall, do we then be able to take it carry over for future funding? If it's not, if it comes in at $5,000, that would be something that we should consider then, so. Okay, well, this has been a pretty great city commission meeting, so if I don't hear anything else out there, do I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Dave makes a motion, and we are adjourned.